Regis.
Everything looks good here.
Everything's good. We're streaming.
I believe we are.
Okay, we will start recording then. In 3, 2, 1, 0. Good evening, everyone. Today is Friday, June 26, 2026, and we're back with another books panel. Not after any shortage of tech challenges, but here we are. I am joined.
Is that what we call them? Tech challenges? I thought. That's a Sienna word, though.
It is, but it is very much that vibe tonight.
We gotta think of a new word for. I have to think of a new word for you, though.
For me.
Yeah.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Just for me and my computer that chooses to freeze. Anyway, this is my wonderful co-host, Ali Musa.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Very happy to be here, as always. And we are joined by a handful of our wonderful, wonderful panelists. Thank you all for joining us.
We are. Thanks, everyone, for coming in tonight.
No worries.
And I want to start off with, we can do a quick roundtable of this. I would like to pose a question to you this evening, as I so often do. And this one is to do with rereading books. Do you reread books? If so, is there a certain time after which you'll reread something? Or if you don't, is there a reason why? And I would like to start this evening with Lily.
I reread books quite regularly, especially Harry Potter and The Hunger Games, just like classic childhood series.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's not less to do for me with the time frame than association. Like if someone in my life makes a Harry Potter reference, I might decide, oh, it's been a while since I've read one of the books. So it's more to do with when I'm thinking about it at the time.
Okay, and will you do them like in order all over again, or do you sometimes just like pick one?
Usually I'll just hop around. And there's books I reread more than others. Like Order of the Phoenix, for some reason, is one I return to a lot.
So I think I should ask you then. I think I want to ask you though that how many times have you read the Order of the Phoenix? Not, I mean, roughly.
At least 8, maybe 12.
Oh,
Interesting.
and that's the longest one.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Paul.
I have not done it for a few years because I have so many books on my TBR mountain. But I do enjoy doing it occasionally. You had a habit every November. I would read, or May, I would read a book called the same book called John F. Kennedy, President. It was written by Hugh Sidey, former Life and Time magazine reporter who covered the White House. And it was supposed to be what he called an analysis of the first term of Kennedy's administration. And of course, it turned out to be the entire administration. Yeah, and it's just a book I always read because it's conveyed a certain time, a moment in time. And there's always, I remember buying this book at a library book sale, kind of beat up and all. I still have it, and the cover's faded a little bit, but I still read it. And I think it's most partly because of the topic, which I always enjoyed, and the way you wrote it. And it captures the moment, but also the moment that I got that when I purchased the book at a book sale. It was just fun. I just remember that as a kid, I bought this book and it was just like, oh wow, this is cool. This is really awesome. This is a good book to read. And it was just something I remember that moment when I was a kid going to a library, and it was just something, and I would read it every year on the anniversary of Kennedy's death or his birth, just around that time, around those months. It was just that way. And I've read a couple of other books in the past, like I read The Watch That Ends the Night by Hugh McLennan. I read that in high school. It was part of the book list I had to read, and I love the book so much, and it was so smartly written with such sensitivity. I've read it several times since then, and it never fails to appreciate or to grow, to touch me, because it's just a wonderful book, because there are no bad characters in this book. they're all people who have been through tough times, and they're all trying to make something a difficult situation work. And I thought that book really worked out really well for me. And so those two books remind me a lot. I read from time to time when I do reread a book.
That's really interesting. And you know what I'm noticing here is this really kind of cohesive concept of time that you've both been discussing, whether it's a moment in your own life or something that takes you back to a moment in history. And I think that's a really neat way to look at it that I wasn't expecting to kind of come out of this. Ashlyn, what about you?
It depends what I want to reread. I like all the fantasy ones, like Percy Jackson. Sometimes I'll reread those.
And what makes something worth rereading to you? Like, what is something that'll jump out to you as I want to reread this?
If I liked it to begin with. Like when I first read it, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, it has to definitely start with I really enjoyed this, not just in the passing sense of I kind of liked it, but it has to be I really found something in this, whether it's one piece of it that I really latch onto. I will reread things. It usually takes me a few years before I will. I don't have a specific time frame, but 2 or 3 years before I feel like I want to revisit something. And a lot of it can be those classics from, in my case, my teen years, because I kind of came late to the things like Harry Potter, but The Hunger Games and Six of Crows, which is another fantasy duology from kind of that same time as all your, like, a little after Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, Percy Jackson. And I like to see how my perspective on them changes, or how, if they hold up. And a lot of the times, the ones that do, it's kind of an interesting mode of self-reflection, I think. Like, how have my values changed in this? How have my opinions on what is good, quote unquote, changed? Allie, what about you?
You know what? I don't know if I don't think I have. No, I've never actually. I don't think I've ever reread anything. I don't think it's not something typically that I like to kind of do, unless again, like unless I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Trebek book. That was one I almost read a second time.
That was a really good book.
Yeah, and I might finish it again. So anybody's interested, it's called The Answer Is.
Now, what would you say it is that keeps you from wanting to reread things?
Well, I feel like because there's too many because there's other stuff that I want to get to.
Oh, okay. So you're interested in moving on to something new and maybe not. Would you say that you don't want to kind of go back to where you've already been with something that you've read?
I wasn't expecting that question, but I think I should have now. I think I know what to expect now. But anyway, I feel like it would depend on the book and whether I enjoyed it or what the concept was. The context of it was, not the concept, the context of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I think concept might be fair as well.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Oh no, not one of the words.
Yeah.
She's being fair again. Can't have that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot around enjoyment here, which is
Yeah.
certainly
Oh
because
yeah.
why would you reread something that you didn't enjoy at least to some extent?
And I feel like that's the theme here tonight too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
enjoyment and kind of time and memory in a way.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I think
You
it's memory, the power of memory. The first time you read it, did you enjoy it? Right. It isn't just the book itself, also the moment where you were in your own life, right?
and you can
Perhaps.
certain
Yeah.
ones you can just situate so clearly. It's
Yeah.
crazy sometimes you maybe reopen that Harry Potter book and you go, "Oh yeah,
Oh.
this is where I was the first time that or this is when this first came to me."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the things we tie to our books.
Oh yes.
Definitely. I don't know if any of you have found that with songs, but when I'm listening to a song, I'll remember. Oh, I heard this the first time when I was on a road trip when I was 13, or
Yes.
whatever the
Yes.
context is. And I feel like it's kind of a very similar way with books. Like they almost kind of carry these. I don't even know if it's memories you are carrying around with you consciously, but it just you start the
Yeah.
book again, and all of a sudden you're taken back into this world, but also back into a time in your life, like you mentioned.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what? I never thought of that of it that way, Lily. But you know what? I know what you know what. I know what you mean by that. That happens too. When it's interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are we wanting to take a quick break or do we want to dive right in?
I suppose we could just we do have the commercials ready, but I think we can just dive in.
Okay. So, I think we will pivot into the discussion of this month's book, which is The Huntress by Kate Quinn. And we'll start, I think, with Ashlyn, and then we can kind of open it up
Yeah.
to a broader discussion and anyone can jump in after. But Ashlyn, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a really quote unquote juicy book because it had a lot of interesting um things, and I thought the timelines between the characters were interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, there's a lot of points where it overlaps and still kind
Hmm.
of it goes in a linear direction with each character, but it you'd think it would
And
be
with the yeah, because with the three different places they were featured in,
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
it was quite interesting.
Yeah, to kind of jump onto that bandwagon, I that was one of the things that I actually loved most about the book. I mean, obviously the plot was my favorite part of it, but the way that Kate Quinn kind of weaves the stories of the characters together, and you always have a very clear sense of time and place. Like she'll introduce when it's Jordan's chapter, you're in Boston in 1950, and she really kind of grounds you in that before you start the chapter. And then I liked the part where at the end, when really the climax of the book was happening, you had the three timelines kind of overlapping. So they started in very different places, but then they all ended up going into the same time, like day and year.
Yeah. And then ended up in the same spot.
Exactly.
And Paul, what were your thoughts on it?
You know, you told me at when I first heard about this, and just in checking, over 19 hours long on Audible, and over 500 pages. 500 pages. I thought this is going to be a challenging read, perhaps, but I'm glad to say I was completely wrong. Over 500 pages, over 19 hours, but hardly dull. It's a captivating thriller that I thought had some really compelling, realistic characters. Part of the charm is based on the fact that they use real life stories. The Huntress is a composite of two other women in real life who are being who are responsible for certain atrocities in the Second World War. So Ms. Quinn took those two people and made them into one person. And one thing, there are many things about the book I liked a lot. First of all, she writes at a great pace. It just moves. It doesn't slow down. And within the first 50 pages, there's already this conflict. All of a sudden, Jordan, the daughter of the American daughter, who discovers that there's something funny about her new stepmother, something unusual about her,
Mhm.
and then and it's slow. And Miss Quinn does a good job by making it by building the tension ever so slowly, but progressively. Because as was pointed out earlier, uh, each chapter is written by the perspective of the person who's being discussed. So you got one part where it's Ian's perspective, or it's uh, Anna's or Jordan's perspective, and the back and forth the main characters, what they think, how they feel, or Nina perhaps. And one thing another thing about the book that impressed me was the each of these characters are all wounded. They've all been traumatized by war, by the Second World War, all of them. Even the young girl, Ruth, who was supposed to be young, beautiful, innocent daughter, has been traumatized by war. Even Jordan, her mother died young, and her father, and they all survived war. They all survived the Second World War. Of course, there's a trauma always on the home front as well as on the war front. So they all felt, as when mentioned earlier in the book, it goes the idea of, oh, that happened a long time ago. Let's move on. Let's move on now. Let's not go back on the past. Let's move forward. Put the war behind us, as it were.
Mhm.
And it turns out you can't really that's not possible to do, especially when there's unresolved issues, seriously unresolved issues in this case.
Oh,
Miss
for
Qu-
sure.
oh yeah, and Miss Quinn really did a good job painting that story. She really did it well, and this is something she's done in the past with all her other books. Has been a series of books where the main characters are courageous women, women who go against
Mhm.
the grain, and I think she did a really good job in this book. And this one is so this is a good one. This is an interesting, entertaining, and really thoughtfully written book.
Yes.
Kind of building on that, it's
Hmm.
courageous women, but who are still deeply human. They are not without
Right.
their flaws. They're not without their, as you said so eloquently, their wounds and their traumas, but they still just carve their paths in the world and in so many interesting ways.
Yeah. Exactly. It was an interesting read. I mean, this kind of genre of book, we call it historical fiction. She took, like I said, those are interesting books, and many books have been written about that, have been used that approach, taking an actual moment of history, maybe not so well known, of a well known story, a small angle of a well known, not so well of a an obscure angle of a well known story, and then turning that into a book. And it's really, first of all, the research is incredible because you can't write a book like this without doing a fair bit of research on the topic and the names and the events that took place. That's one thing. And you have to know the topic well to create these characters to fit the story and to make it believable when you're using historical fiction, actual events from history. And she did a very good job on this, I think.
Yeah, I think she definitely did do a wonderful job at that, especially because you have all these characters and they are all had different roles in the war. Tony was an interpreter, Ian was
Mhm.
a journalist, Nina was a bomber pilot for the Soviet Union. And so for each of those characters, she would have had to do a fair bit of research about maybe their living conditions or what sort of things they were being asked to do, and just all these different aspects of their life. So that would
Mhm.
have been an extensive amount of research she would have had to do, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I'm really curious, Makara. so you picked this book for the panel today. I'm curious why you picked The Huntress and like what really stood out to you about this book.
So many of the things we've talked about already, so I won't tread over them too extensively again. But it was
Well,
one that
if you have to, feel free because
no, but a lot of them have already been explained in such excellent ways that I could not hope to, tape over, as it were, with my own explanations. But I
You
will.
are selling yourself short, but okay.
I know that's exactly what I was saying. That's why because and the reason I was saying that, Lily, because see, it's even though thoughts have been said, but you want to sort of it's coming now. It's your sort of turn to sort of sell your explanation here.
So I found this book by accident a number of years ago in an Audible 2-for-1 sale because I was just looking for something else to get that second title. And I am not an enjoyer of historical fiction, as it were. That is not ever a genre that has grabbed me before. But I looked at the description of this and I thought, oh, this looks kind of interesting. Maybe we'll give it a try. I'd never read Kate Quinn. I had never delved into any of this. And in reading it, it's the kind of thing you can sink your teeth into. Like, there's so many layers and there's so many pieces. And one of the things that jumps out at me most is Nina is perhaps one of my favorite characters that I have ever read in anything. She is so... Of course, she carries her scars, and she has her ambitions that she's just going to do what she wants to do. She's going to take it. She does not care what she has to do to get it. And her introduction, in particular, is... It lives in my mind, even when I haven't read it in a while, just the way she absolutely comes into Ian and Tony's office like this absolute tornado. And her feet up on the desk, and she's, scooping jam into her tea, and this is blasphemy to Ian, and she's just sort of oblivious to the minor crisis that he is having in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And even where she gets to later on, and the things that she overcomes and has to reckon with, that she refuses to give to these people she's now working with, and how everything converges in the end is so clever and brilliant. And there's these shorter chapters in the end where you don't really know where things are going to go, but it's maybe, I would imagine, a page of a chapter, and you're like, but who fires the shot? Who is over here now? And you don't know. Until finally it does get revealed, and it is just an excellent book, I think.
Yeah.
And to your point, Paul, it's a 19-hour book, but like you say, it moves.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have never read a 19-hour... I think this is the first 19-hour book that I have ever read in 3 days. And that was because it moved so fast, it kept me so engaged. I was visiting my parents for Father's Day, and the whole time I just kept thinking, I've got to get back home and read the next chapter, and the next chapter, and the next chapter. Like, that speaks to how the plot moves and how engaging it is, I think.
So you read it. Sorry, go ahead. Did I interrupt you? Sorry.
No, I was finished my point, so go on.
No, sorry. Did you so you read it in a matter of 3 days?
Yes.
In a 3-day period?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
See, and putting aside my own love for it, I do think that speaks volumes when a book gives you...
Oh, I could tell that you... Yeah, I could tell you had a real passion for the book.
Yeah, we could tell. We could tell. We hear these things. Yeah, we could tell.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, right, Ashlyn and Lily, we could tell.
Oh, for sure. I
Right, Ashlyn?
She cannot hide it.
Pardon?
Ow. I said she cannot hide it.
Oh no, yeah.
Nor
even
should you
even
hide.
just
Nor
how
should
she
you
said
hide
a
it.
few minutes ago, going about the characters. Yeah, we.
It's the characters, it's the story. Even Annalise as a character, I cannot pronounce it with the slight
And
accent.
Elisa.
Annalise.
Annalisa, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Or as she said it, as the narrator said it, Annalisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is another point that I think is worth touching on is the narration in this book. It is excellent.
Yes.
Saskia Marlevelt.
Yeah. I think she does a majority of Kate Quinn's books.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
her, her accent work.
that's just what I
Sorry,
was
I
gonna
think I
say.
cut you off.
No,
No,
go
I
ahead,
was just
Lily.
gonna say her accent work. I've read a number of books with her, or a couple of with her narrating, and her accent work is excellent. And she can switch from, I mean, she probably records the voice tracks separately, but British to Russian to Southern to French, and
Austrian.
just this whole repertoire of accents that she has.
Estonian.
You know, it's funny how. Isn't it interesting how narrators do that?
It is fascinating. It's I enjoy doing impressions, but like that is on a whole different level of the amount of you'd have to really pay attention to the qualities of the voice, I would assume, and how to replicate them.
Yeah, you know, it's the quality of the. Yeah, I feel like it's also the quality of the voice, the accents, and just how they. I've always found it funny how they do all the voices.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
cool.
because she did Ian, Tony, Stalin's. She went back and forth between all of them.
Yeah.
And even to do something subtly accented, like Annalisa is not a fully, German or Austrian accent. It's sort of lightly done, and it allows you to live in the story even more.
Yeah. It was fascinating.
Now I'm curious also about and Annalisa, I guess, and whether I feel like that's another point I wanted to touch on was the part where Jordan, um, she is initially suspicious of Annalisa, like Paul mentioned, and she's taking these pictures, and she gets the picture of her a medal in that was hidden in a wedding bouquet, and all this evidence, and then she quietly like dismisses it after the not to give too many spoilers, but after a confrontation.
No,
And
on this
so,
show you can give spoilers. Go ahead.
yeah, and so it's really kind of clever how she kind of Kate Quinn kind of drops these little hints of like everything
Yeah.
is not as it seems.
Well, yeah, because
Mhm.
if you think of the dude who's working in the shop, in the back of the shop, they eventually came out and said she was the smuggler of him in there.
What do you guys think of the character of Jordan?
She was interesting. Like, she was, she wanted to be like the next up and coming war based photographer.
Yeah, she was ambitious. She was ambitious. I rather liked it. It was a good character again, with the exception of Annalise, who's a who's obviously hiding a terrible secret in her horrible past. There are no bad people here. As I say, people like one thing about Ian, the former journalist now turned Nazi hunter. He makes it clear at one point he doesn't want to kill anybody. He doesn't want to do violence. He wants to find the people. He wants justice, not revenge. Which I thought
Yeah, he.
which I think is a, especially in those kind of cases, it's sometimes hard to distinguish between justice and revenge. Sometimes,
Oh yeah.
that's, and I thought that was a that's, I think, a courageous statement to make.
Yeah. And
You
you
didn't
see
do this,
him.
yeah.
Sorry, do you want to finish your
No,
thought?
no, 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 no. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I definitely agreed with that. Is a very courageous thing to do, and you see in different points of the book where he really kind of there. It's a very fine line that he has to walk, and points where even when he's working with Nina, and Nina wants to resort to like violence to try and get people to talk, and he has to talk her
Right,
down from it, and it's kind of yeah, it's makes him seem even more human to watch him kind of have to walk that tightrope, basically.
exactly. He's fighting a natural instinct to get even, to find uh, vengeance for such horrific crimes. How do you find justice? What kind of justice can ever meet the demands of people who suffered enormously in the Holocaust? How do you find that? And here he is trying to do the decent thing, the right thing, in the middle of a very indecent moment in history where dignity was at a premium.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was
Mhm.
really. I thought that character really stood out for me. That he was trying to do the right thing when a lot of people were not just want to get even. Again, you
Mm.
understand, and
Mm-hmm.
understandably so.
And he had a reason that he very
Yeah,
easily could have crossed that line because of how personal it was.
it
But he
was. Yeah,
still manages not to somehow.
he fought his own. He fought his instincts, and he fought his own personal reasons to rise above it, to ensure to maintain his dignity, to not lower himself not lower himself to the level of those whom he was searching for.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's a great, and that's an extremely difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of courage.
Exactly.
Allie, I'm not sure that we've really gotten your thoughts yet.
No, that's okay. I'm enjoying this conversation. It's okay.
No, please,
So
please.
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead,
so
Lily.
you had told
We're
Sorry,
glad
go
you're
ahead.
enjoying the conversation, Ali. We're really glad you're enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Lily.
so you had told I'm not sure if Makara you were there for this conversation
No, I
yesterday,
think it was
but
just you and I think.
yeah, so you had told me that you hadn't really gotten very far in the book. So what we're talking about is maybe things that you may
Haven't
not have
gotten.
read, and so I'm curious. Like you're as someone who's kind of coming into this with just your first impressions of the book, what your thoughts are.
I think I also mentioned. I remember I mentioned off to you offline as well that I it wouldn't be I'm finding it okay.
Mm.
It's an interesting writing style.
You're finding it heavy, aren't you?
It is. Yes.
I
Um.
can figure out Ollie if he finds one too heavy.
Oh, you know me well.
He
You finding
kind
it
of doesn't answer the.
you
Pardon
find it
me.
heavy, Ali? You find the book heavy?
It is.
What just on the topic, or or the amount or the weight of the book itself, or the actual length of the book?
I think it's just the top. I think it's just the way the book is written. I think.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I don't know. I find it
Yeah,
that yeah.
fair
That's what
enough.
I mean by. I think
Oh,
that's. Go
I
ahead.
just said the word fair
You
again.
said the word.
Who did?
Ashlyn.
What's that? Fair?
What was the word again? What was the word?
I said fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a
Oh,
new program on the in the LE universe. Fair enough.
Fair enough. To be fair.
To be fair,
Also, for sure. For sure is in there.
My bad is
yes.
also in
That's our
there.
nighttime program. My bad. That's right.
Gotcha is one that I just found out about very recently.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's a new one.
I've gotten you on a few of them, Lily.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, yeah, you're right.
Oh, is that another one?
What's that?
You're right.
Oh, that too.
That is one you use a lot, Allie.
Not really.
You're right. You're right.
I don't notice myself using it. Maybe. Well, if you notice it, then well, I've. Oh.
Oops.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Come on back in. But
Come on in.
yeah, right.
We're forgiving. That's right.
Well, we didn't say anything.
No, I think maybe her connection.
I think it
was-
may have dropped. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but I think too, where it comes down to, I feel like it's heavy in terms of
There we are.
Hey, Lily, you're back.
I'm back. I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, no worries. We're here. We're back. We're here. We're here. So I feel like what it is I think when it comes to heavy, I think it was also I found the plot and the contents of the book a little heavy too.
Yeah, it's a heavy topic. I mean, but it's been used in so many. The topic has been used in so many different books.
That's
going
right
all the way
too.
back to going all the way back to the 60s and 70s. One of the first books I read, I remember I really enjoyed reading, was by Leon Uris, a book called QB7, and about again a Holocaust survivor who was also involved in committing certain crimes, and again the story was built up to the whole thing. Again, not using various incidents to tie it to make it various actual incidents to make it into a fiction, historical fiction, and it's a heavy topic, but it's perhaps one of the seminal one of the seminal events of the 20th century, and also especially when it comes for discussion, it shows how human beings acted, both the best and the worst of them,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it's always asked the question, how could we have done any better?
Or even how could we have done things differently?
But suppose the situation happened again, would we have done would we have been any better than what we saw back at that time, right? And explains the human condition, how humans act in extraordinary difficult situations.
Yeah.
And this book does the same thing, how they react after the events have happened, how they proceed in their lives, live their lives, or try to live their lives, and they find they can't move forward until they have to deal with the past.
Mm-hmm. And even Annalisa does not believe that she has done wrong.
Yeah, of course, yeah, exactly.
She is objectively the worst person in the whole book, but she firmly believes, and you actually get this in the prologue, though you don't know it's her at the time, that she believes it was Mercy.
The one by the lake.
Yeah, exactly. It's again perspective. And the thing is, that's been the position by some people who survived, who were tried for war crimes, saying, "Oh, it was just we did what we had to do. That it was not a criminal act. It was war. We had to survive. We were or just following orders, following instructions. We didn't know how bad it was. Not some kind of justification for what they did, saying it wasn't a regular everyday life. It was an extraordinary life. It was extraordinary. We were in the middle of war. We were fighting the rest of the world. This is what we had to do."
Yeah. and that's a scary thing because they believe that they're right, but there's even situations in modern politics that you could point
Sure.
to, and that are potentially like less extreme or less on a smaller scale, sure, where people are being asked to do things that maybe aren't in their moral code, or maybe they're being asked to do things that really shouldn't be legal, and they're just if those people ever tried, they'd probably say something similar of, "Oh, we're just following orders."
Yep.
We're just serving. We're just serving the leaders. Serving. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Nothing. Nothing. It's yeah. It's you're exactly right. It happens even now, in various around the world, in our modern lives. We have because otherwise, if we actually sometimes if we actually you know took away the took away all the precepts and the excuses and actually realized what some people were doing, how could they ever function again? I did these horrible things. How could I possibly go on living? How can I go on facing the next day knowing I did these things? I mean, I'm not talking about what happened in the Holocaust. I'm talking like as you mentioned earlier a moment ago, but that happens today, happens nowadays. How can people have to believe that what they're doing is just without understanding any moral implications? Otherwise, if they did, they'd stop in their tracks and get down on their knees and start and weep unabashedly, saying, "What have I done?" And that's a very harsh thing for any human being to realize the consequences of their actions.
Exactly, it really is. That's a good point.
Yeah. Once in a while I get a good point. You know. Once in a while, I worked on that all night last night. It's all paid off.
Yeah, rehearsing into the mirror.
This is what I was playing all your voices.
And I think that's really the culmination of this book, is that you have to face them, and sooner or later, whether by choice or just by virtue of someone else putting it upon you, you're going to have to look those things in the face. And I don't even just mean with the final confrontation, but each character had to eventually look at something and go, okay, this is what we need to do to get the results we want. It's not the way we want to do it, but we have to.
Hmm.
That to me was a strong point of the book. It's not a neat and tidy ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Not
actually
at
liked
all.
about it. It wasn't. Because sometimes some books, and it's not a criticism of books of other fiction writers, they tie everything up nice and neat, and you walk away satisfied. And again, nothing wrong with that approach. But this book gives the reality, especially on a topic like this. You cannot find proper resolution. The idea of finding closure. I have my own question about the phrase closure. With that, if that actually even possible, I don't think it is personally. I don't think, especially in the something as horrific and as something as horrific as the Holocaust. How do you find closure? All you can do is move
Mm.
on. You never forget. It's always there. It's always with you. And this book
Yeah.
and the ending does not, because life is untidy. We all know life is untidy. Life is not a reality
Mm.
TV show. It never all works out at
Nope.
the end. No,
No.
and that's why I think the book is really good because it's realistic. There's no it felt really good. That's a good ending. No, it leaves you wondering,
It leaves you guessing.
almost dissatisfied.
Mm.
But then again, that's what will probably happen in real life. What kind of satisfaction can you get if you're looking for some kind of satisfaction, or if you're a victim, a survivor of the Holocaust? What kind of satisfaction or type of resolution could you ever get that can ever uh, you know uh, deal with the wound, the open wound, the emotional wound you felt of dealing with of surviving such a horrific event? How
Mm.
what moment, what act of justice could do it? Many people have come forward, especially during the heyday of the 50s and 60s and even 70s, when uh, Nazi soldiers were being found everywhere in Venezuela or even the United States. What kind of resolution could ever be found? And even the victims never seemed particularly satisfied, or they said that person paid the price or was convicted or whatever. But it never seemed to be. It always seemed to be insufficient. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and because yeah, and the thing is, yeah, it would probably be insufficient for me. If that were me, I'd probably feel the same way. It's not enough.
Yeah. It's
Vengeance
totally
is not yeah.
understandable.
Yeah, and understandably so. Exactly, understandably so. There's no type of justice in this world that could ever, deal with the pain that you've experienced. And that's people have a problem. That's why I think people have a problem with the justice system overall. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's the idea. We're supposed to be human beings with some degree of dignity uh, and not if it's not compassion, at least some reasonableness that did not exist at the time these crimes were committed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know what? I think we need to do I think we should do like I think we should just I think sometime we should just have a little bit of we should do like we should do a bonus books panel sometime. Just kind of talking about thoughts on expanded thoughts on
Yeah.
books and this kind of conversation.
Yeah, because hard to believe, but it's already only 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
We'll call it expanded thoughts.
Yeah, why not? Why don't we do that?
All
Let's
in this one
what
show,
do we
expanded
think? Don't we
thoughts.
think so, guys? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Make it so.
Yeah. Well, Makara, it's that time in the show again.
It is hard to
Maybe
believe.
learn the next books.
Yes.
We learn the next books, we learn the upcoming schedule. We learn a lot, not that we haven't already here this evening, because my goodness. Haven't we all?
With our other two
Exactly.
co-hosts not here.
No.
Unfortunately, yes.
No, Lynn was supposed to come. I don't know what happened, but anyway.
Right. Allie, I understand there are some developments in regards to the Ali Musa show.
Oh yes. So, Mike Babcock is back in the NHL again with the Oilers.
Oh.
Very much a what are my thoughts on that? And Brady Tkachuk has been traded from the Ottawa Senators.
To, I think, Florida?
Yes, to the Lightning, to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, what is this what does this all mean? The NHL off season has been a busy one, and it hasn't been this busy in a while. So, Gil Martin returns to the show, to the Ali Musa show, on Monday, July the 6th, 2026, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So, tune in for that excellent conversation. You don't want to miss it.
Okay, maybe I actually will this time.
Amazing.
Since I got my newsletters back.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, wonderful! I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh man, this is exciting,
Awesome.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And regarding next month's panel.
Yes, but before we get to the next month's panel, we have the Ali and Makara show coming up before that.
Ooh.
That we do.
Yeah.
We have a Monday show this week on June 29th, 2026, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, as usual, and we will be discussing the Bullpen Gospels, Major League Dreams of a Minor League Veteran, and that is by Dirk Hayhurst. I'm looking forward to getting into that.
Interesting.
I do believe it will be.
Yes, and we also have a books panel coming up too, don't we?
We do. I believe that'll be on July the 31st.
Are we excited?
Yeah.
Of course. And next month's title is Living Disability. I cannot think of the author off the top of my head right now.
We'll look it up.
Oh,
And
I think
Feel free
that's
to
a
check
great
a look,
book,
Paul,
actually.
if you can.
Yeah, living disability book. Yeah, it is. Yes, I believe it's written by. Let me pull it over here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, written by, edited by Emily McCrae. It's a series of articles, different on the issue, building accessible futures for everybody. Subtitled, yeah, living disability, building accessible futures for everybody.
Thank you for that, Paul. I really appreciate that.
Oh, excellent
And
choice.
yes, I think it will be apt for the month.
Absolutely.
we'll see how long that one is.
It is. I'm going to guarantee you it's not nearly as long.
Let's
I
find
like
out,
the
huh? Let's
longer
find out.
ones.
Let's find out right now.
Well, let's put bets down right now, okay? Let's put some bets.
Yeah, well, I think it's short. Well, yeah, it's short. As long as it's shorter than the Huntress, we're good.
Well,
Otherwise, Ollie won't get through all of it.
it's just too heavy for him. It's just I understand that.
He'll fall
Okay,
asleep halfway
no,
through.
just so you all know, it's 9 hours and 51 minutes on
Okay.
Audible. A reasonable time, a reasonable.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Perfect.
That's good. I'm glad it's acceptable.
That's
I'm just a longer
Ashlyn
reader.
approved.
I'm
Great.
currently reading a 13-hour book right now.
Nice.
Yes, I'm reading. Yeah.
Do we need to trademark that? Ashlyn approved.
We should once again get it approved, get a patent on that, split it 5 different ways because we all thought of it, and then make sure we get some mark. As I said before, many months before, we should make sure we get merchandising. Okay, like
There we go.
Ashton approved.
Yeah.
funny.
Then you could advertise products. You could make bank
Oh
doing
yeah,
that. Just
milkshakes.
it's Ashlyn
Yeah,
approved.
nutritional shakes. Pillow sheets, whatever, pillowcases.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We're talking. Houseware. This
Listen,
Ashton
we've been
approved.
saying it for months in different ways. There is a gold mine here.
Yeah, there is, and we haven't done it yet. We got to work on this. There's money, and we could set ourselves up for the rest of our lives if we do it right, And Ashton approved sounds really good. And get that image, make a few bucks. My goodness, my friends, we'll be living well the rest of our lives.
That, and if we get weirdery as well, like
Oh, I forgot about.
weirdery.
That's the grant.
I forgot about that one.
That was a Sienna-based one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one. We should keep that in mind. Again, I'm thinking of the merchandising aspect of the whole thing.
We'll have to build a glossary or a dictionary of our own.
I think so.
There you go. A dictionary, T-shirts, the whole bit, mugs.
Make some actual
Sell it on
money
Etsy.
off this weirdness we say.
Let's set up the books panel store on the web page. Okay, let's make sure people have a sample of it all. Pillowcases and of course and the hats.
It's like magnets and
Refrigerator magnets, of course. We can't forget that. Refrigerator magnets. People love that stuff. And then we get into food.
Ooh,
Weirdery food. There you go.
Ashlyn approved a line of
lanyards.
artisan
Lanyards.
jams and
Oh yeah.
Oh
my.
my
Where
goodness.
are we going with this?
We should do a whole. This is part of the expanded edition of Books Panel. Okay, right here.
it is.
Well, if we
Developing our
all want to
patent.
make a little coin, I guess.
It's called capitalism, my friends.
Embrace it.
Well,
Yeah,
McCara, where can
right
people
now.
find us online?
It's crafts with class.
And one more piece of scheduling. We do have a couple of Textravaganza workshops next week as well. There will be, rather than the usual Wednesday tutorial, because of Canada Day, we will have a Thursday afternoon workshop. And it's
Yeah.
going to be a Libby tutorial. That's from 1 to 3 p.m. Thursday, July 2nd. And we also, can we announce this? Is this common knowledge yet?
Go ahead, go no. On here, anything goes.
All right, we've got a
the
bonus.
Friday one.
Yeah, a bonus on Friday, July 3rd, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will be looking at Gmail on the iPhone. Seeing as this week's tutorial of Gmail on the web was such a success.
Yes.
This is exciting stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you can find and follow the books panel. You can subscribe to all the newsletters for all of the shows at themusaslobodiannetwork.ca. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel where we're live right now. That goes for all of the shows, but especially the books panel. Obviously, that's where we are right now. You can join the WhatsApp group. You can like the Facebook page. There are a plethora of ways to find us, including all of your favorite podcast platforms.
And not to mention, make sure your emails are unpaused or you will not receive the newsletters.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And as we do every month,
Sponsored by WordPress.
Yes.
I just want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight for another amazing discussion.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ashlyn. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Makara, as well.
Been a
Thank
blast,
you.
Oh,
Been a blast.
We appreciate you so very much.
I look forward to having you guys back with us next month.
yes. Don't blink or it'll be here.
Oh my.
And thank you to all of the listeners who are tuned in live or who are listening on the podcast later. We appreciate you spending an evening with us.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.